up, guys?
3, 2, 1, go!
I did fall immediately in this race, and that's gonna kind of be the theme for this video is Marji, Gesick, chaos. Let's get into it. So me and Will, shout out mom for reminding me that's incorrect grammar, went up to do Marji. I was super excited for this race, and the Le Mans start, which I've done a couple of times in different bike races, was just a classic. What's going on? I think next time I would have put my bike in a different spot, maybe closer to where the run came out of the loop, because I had to run a little bit further than a few people just because they put their bike closer, and I think that was actually better. So at the beginning of the race, I was actually told by many people to kind of chill, don't burn a ton of matches, which I took with a grain of salt because typically my approach is just go as hard as you can and see how long you can sustain that.
Sorry if I made you fall. That's okay. My phone fell. No, you're good.
So right there, this guy is apologizing to me for knocking me over earlier, and he informed me that his phone isn't broken. So I was like, cool. Super happy for you. Yeah, so you were with people for a while in this race. For, I would say up to mile 30, which was where the first aid station was. I was around people most of the time, and it was pretty smooth. There was ski trails for a lot of it, and then you turned off and it was like nice flowy single track, and there was a section of rock that was kind of like it was like shale or like loose rock, and actually really was so fun. So that part was a highlight for me. And then there was this other part where there's this kind of rock face that you go over, and the like some locals said to ride it, some said not to ride it, so I come up to him just like, I don't know, and I rode down most of it. My front tire got caught in a hole and I almost OTB'd, but I didn't. So made it down. This is a nice little section.
Oh, really?
This guy behind me said, this is my favorite like part of the day right here. And I'm thinking, I'm like, man, I feel like we're at mile like 10. He's got a lot more trail to go that he doesn't like. But no, it was fun. I think these sections were really nice to have early on, just to get the speed up. So doing pretty well so far. This is me, there's my friend Chris right there. I actually hopped back on my bike right here and completely stopped. And was like, that was stupid. Why did I do that?
That was stupid.
So yeah, don't get back on your bike until you're out of there. But yeah, since while we're watching this nice little video that I'm sure you've seen already.
Yeah. My cousins went there.
The big thing I think with Marji for me at least was I just needed better. My fork I think something was wrong with it. It needed to be cleaned out or serviced. And my hands and my upper body muscles just got absolutely destroyed. That guy that was just behind, he just motored after we got through mile 30. And me and one other girl from this area, actually, she was really cool. We went into this trail section together. I asked her, I was like, how many times have you done this? And she was like, oh, like 5. And I'm like, why am I in front of you? And she was like, you're fine. And I was like, okay. And like proceed to just constantly mess up everywhere. But right now, in the whole day, really, I think as long as you're able to like really focus, you'll do pretty good. So that kid right there, he was actually riding on his rim.
Oh shit.
And I was like, you good? And he was like, yeah, I just broke my wheel. So hopefully he got out there fine. But these are fun little parts. So I think like a big thing that I was excited about for Marji was just that I knew we were going to have a really good mountain biking day. Regardless of how much suffering there was, the trails and the scenery were going to be really cool. Here's a little grass hill that we had to get over. some steep climbs this is at Marquette Mountain. So I had actually pre-rode all of Marquette Mountain, particularly actually this section I pre-rode, so I could get down it. I knew pretty well. I knew so well that I could get down that I actually just forgot to unlock my suspension, and I went down this rigid. So that was good. I would say that wasn't like, didn't set me up super well for later when I could barely hold on to my handlebars, but it's fine. So I had 2 things written on my handlebars that you can see in this video. It was just mileage and time. So I was trying to get around 12 hours, obviously. I knew I had the fitness. I hadn't ridden a ton of excessive hours, like up to this point. At least at like a high zone. I'd gone bike packing recently and we had done 1,000 miles in a month. So I had like the legs to do it. It was just like whether or not I had the mountain bike form. The fork really prevented me to feel really good with that part. I caught that guy right before 8 stop at mile 50. I gave my dad the camera at mile 50, so this is me after mile 68 stop at Jackson Park. I had a nice little sandwich. This is me going through Jackson Park. Sandwich was great. It was actually, I think, like one of the last things I was able to really get down super well. So ate that sandwich, kind of was cruising with 2 other guys. There was a guy from Michigan Tech. There was actually a few people from Michigan Tech. So from mile 50 to 60, I passed some guys from Michigan Tech. And I think one of them actually came back and passed me in this section between first coming through Jackson Park and coming back to it. And I would say halfway through that section was when I really just cracked pretty bad. So I think that happened just because I wasn't able to eat enough food. I ate the sandwich and then it filled me up and I didn't really want to eat any more gel or take in a ton of fluid. So you're about to witness the beginning of my downfall, and that's fine. You know, that happens. So still enjoying the trail. It's still like absolutely gorgeous. Obviously it's like fall and it's very pretty and the temperature's actually perfect. It's not too hot right now. I think it's like in the 70s maybe. But my hands are starting to really hurt, and when I get back to the aid coming up at mile 90, I actually changed gloves. So I'm like, Dad, I can't hold on the handlebars. Like I have to have something else, and he gave me some padded gloves. Right up this climb, I saw a photographer.
No, don't show anybody.
Yeah, he was joking about me walking up the hill. I was like, no, don't film me. They were funny. I think at this point too, you were seeing a lot of people, so you were seeing the runners and the other mountain bike distances, which my mom did. Pretty cool, but you were seeing a lot of people, so I was still pretty like aware. You would think that you would like get mentally cracked. I never really became mentally cracked this whole time. It was more just my like upper body was really taking a beating. So this is me after the last time I saw my dad. I actually debated on not finishing because I was like, man, my hands hurt so bad. Which this sounds so silly, but I was having a really hard time hanging on to my handlebars. I knew about this rest stop. Someone told me about it. I got a Coke, some Twizzlers. At this point, I was really just taking my time, lollygagging. I knew I could finish. I knew I wasn't going to get under 12, so I was just trying to enjoy it and not suffer too hard. And one thing about me is that I like to create unnecessary stress. So I brought a light that was pretty bad, and my headlamp was out of battery, and I didn't know that actually, but this light is not good. And it's really bright if you're not in the woods out there. Like it was pretty bright up until pretty late, but then when you would go into the woods out from the field and you would like go into the woods, it got like super dark, and it was kind of like that for a while, and then all of a sudden it was just like pitch black. So that took so much more time for me to get through because I was going really slow or walking a lot just because I couldn't see super well, which I knew was my fault. But so 2 things changed. Make sure your fork is plushly set up. Bring a nice light. And so this is me in the dark. And actually the arrows were really reflective, which was pretty nice. They really thought through this. They were like, we're gonna make these people suffer, but the arrows are gonna be good. So I can't complain. You'll see them. They reflect really well. But there was one point, I think it was really cool. You could see actually like everybody's like headlights in the distance. And I remember at Unbound, oh there they are. I could see the headlights in the distance, which I always thought was so cool. Because it's just, you're out there with a ton of people and you're just like, that's so cool. So I didn't know where I was going right here. And I was like up this ridge, this rock, and yes, that was the correct way to go. There's the arrow. Like I said, I knew I was going the right way up this rock. At this point, I actually got asked out by I don't really know how old this child was, but he asked me how old I was, and I was like, too old for you, pal. So this is the last little 8 stop, or not 8 stop, this is the last little token that I got. So yeah. You hit a tree?
Hit a tree during Marji Gesick, and it took off my end cap. I'm half at end cap now. So it could do the other side of your face if you wanted it to.
What's wrong with my face?
626 yesterday. I got my heart rate down to 30 now.
Yeah, got all the tokens. Super pumped about that. And finished. So I got right over 13 hours. And I guess that means I'll have to do it again because only an hour and 15 minutes away. So see you guys next time.